Yeah.
Let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Oh, let me deal with my microphone. Okay. And, in our yoga and Tai Chi show classes, we've been putting a lot of emphasis on the feet. And I'm really feeling my feet this evening. We did quite a bit. So, if you don't pay too much attention to your feet, maybe one thing that you could do that's very simple that you don't need to be supervised to do is to get a tennis ball and, sit in a chair or stand, however it works for you, and then just roll that tennis ball around underneath your foot. And, I learned today there's a lot of, muscles and ligaments and tendons or whatever in the foot that kind of go up the leg to that it doesn't, you're kind of, the connections don't just end at the ankle kind of thing. So I was a little bit, I've never really looked at the kind of the pathway of the connections from the feet to the rest of the body. So I was a little bit surprised, even though I did anatomy many, many years ago. But so just have your feet flat on the floor, excuse me, and just feel the heels of your foot. So we can, in just this little time we have, you can just feel the soles of the feet, the heels, the side of the foot, your toe mounds, like the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and then all your little toe pads. And then depending on whether you have a high arch or a low arch, you might feel some space underneath there. So just feel the weight of the foot in the floor. This is an excellent place to come to if you're feeling a little bit ungrounded or something's, taking you by surprise. And allow the legs to settle into the ankle, the shoulders are aligned with the hips, and imagine your spine is just this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond, putting some space in between those vertebrae. This beautiful string of pearls of light. And then just notice your breath. Just appreciate the breath, the air. Completely took our clean air for granted until 2020, and then we had this horrible air here in the Bay Area. It was absolutely awful. And it went on for quite some time from the fires. I was so grateful to see the air quality index go from over 100 back down to 20 and 30. So appreciate the air that you breathe. We don't have any control over our environment. It could change any moment. Then go to the crown of the head and just relax your scalp. Just allow some softening to come into the face, the back of the head, the neck. Allow the shoulders to relax and the shoulder blades. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly, and then just all of your limbs. Noticing the sensations of the air as you inhale and exhale. And then be aware of any sounds in your environment. So it really is getting considerably darker day by day. So it's almost pitch black outside now here. So very silent. And then notice what's arising in the mind. What stories are there? And just observe without any judgment, without any, it should be this way or it should be different than this. Just take a step back and observe. Then bring to mind all the people of your life, the ones we love so much, so dear to our heart. Then there's those people in our life that we just, do not like. And then there's our strangers, and they're all equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for this enlightened mind. So all these relationships are interchangeable. It's really good to keep that in mind. They're all equal in their wish to be happy and the wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for this Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this meditation on Vajrasattva in the context of the four opponent powers for the benefit of all these people of our life, and by extension for all sentient beings. So we start by thinking there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change that by creating positivity instead. And we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others. We ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm just sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing this Buddha to forgive us. We're looking for the methods that we can use to purify ourselves, like medicine. So we're looking to heal ourselves. So imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart. The left is under the right and holding the left is holding a bell. That represents wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents enlightenment. This is the symbol, that represents the two together. And this is the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and just have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar like coming out of a hose quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you, and it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forces up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anorakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And that includes yourself. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So, it's the same as when you walk into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on that switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment, neediness, bitterness, grudges, unhappy mind, vitriol, jealousy, depression, anxiety, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Then be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And, we start this process by making a determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So it's always important, I think, to start with rejoicing, particularly in yourself, your determination to come here night after night, and then in everybody else's turning up as well. It's very sweet. And then think about something you'd like to work on. Maybe it's your speech, maybe it's negative self-talk, maybe it's this kind of ruminating about something. Maybe it's just being distracted. Maybe you have an addiction to something. So maybe just think about how I'd try and identify something, try and create an awareness around something, and then maybe shine a light on it a little bit and think about how you can work with it. And imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. And emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And we do our chanting the names of Manjushri. The Vajradhara, ever glorious, most pleased and satisfied with folded palms, prostrated to the Buddha, noble God, the Blessed One, the Lord Tathagata, and with the host of other Vajrapanis of varied forms, the Lord of Gyuyakas, sublime protectors, noble wrathful kings, he then exclaimed this effervescent praise. Protector, we rejoice. How excellent what you have clearly taught. Through your lofty aim, through you our lofty aim has been achieved, which leads to true and full awakening. And so a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, and for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation, and then for all of your own personal teachers, Geshes, Western teachers, whoever's touched your heart. All right, everybody. Lots of love. Thank you so much. And I will see you all tomorrow evening. Thank you for hosting, you three. All right. Lots of love, you guys. Sleep well.